Desire within A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. Desire can be seen within Stella and Stanley's relationship. Stella is drawn to Stanley's brute and animal-like sexuality, while Stanley is drawn to Stella's traditional feminine sexuality. Despite Stanley's violence, sexual desire keeps the two together. After a physical altercation where Stanley puts his hands on Stella and utilizes acts of violence towards her, Stella goes upstairs to stay with Eunice to separate herself from Stanley, and Stanley calls up to Stella crying her name out, just repetitively crying her name out for her to come down. And Stella eventually does, and this confuses Blanche, and Blanche kind of questions this. And then this is where Eunice explains that she always goes back, that pretty much that desire does keep the two together. And this part in the play where they reunite back together, they don't share any words. It's just they share this physical communication where it's kind of as an act of forgiving each other, or Stella forgiving Stanley, and then they go to the bed. And this is to show that their desire and their sexuality is what holds them together and what fixes their conflicts, and it's pretty much the resolution to their problems in regards to their relationship. Stella does tell Blanche, she tells her that there are things that happen between a man and woman in the dark that sort of make everything else seem unimportant. And this right here just fully explains that they use their desire for each other as a resolution to hold their relationship together. Blanche and her desires. Blanche objectifies herself as just like a sexual object to men. And her interactions are always beginning with being flirtatious in her flirting. And when Blanche tells Stella that her and Stanley are finally getting along, this is after Blanche had been flirting with Stanley. And this to her was the consensus that, oh, I'm flirting with him, this makes everything okay. Like, that's just the way that she handles things. Blanche so desperately feels the need to seem desirable that she feels the need to create that illusion of deceiving others into her appearance. And she heavily expresses her sexuality through her appearance by constantly being clean, by wearing red satin dresses, by trying to appear younger than she is. She almost tries to overcompensate for the fact that she wasn't desirable to Alan, her first husband, that she couldn't please him, because that was a big thing for where women were intended to please their men, and if they couldn't, they had failed. And she had, in her mind, failed her husband to the point of his death, leading up to his death. And Blanche is sort of stuck in time because she was so young when this happened, and she clings to that youngness because she kind of lost it. She didn't get to have it, and she so badly wants to still be young and be desirable because she feels deprived of it, and she kind of overcompensates for that. And that's how Tennessee Williams shows desire within Blanche and within Stanley and Stella's relationship.